I want to share a painful experience I've had recently. I did the math and I realized that I've wasted more than $1 million with one massive mistake. Now, the reason I'm making this video is I want to share with you this mistake so you don't make it. So in this video, I'm going to walk you through one of the most important decisions you can make when you're on your business journey. And again, if I could go back and tell myself this is the one thing I would do. And it's picking a CRM that's going to allow you to grow and scale. And so during this video, I'm going to show you exactly how to pick a CRM, what it actually does, and I'm going to show you through the tutorial of setting it up on Go High Level. Now, if you don't have Go High Level yet, you're going to want to stick around because you can try it out as we go along with a free 30-day trial. Basically, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to switch over my screen and I'm going to show you how to actually go through this, and I'm going to explain the mistake I made that cost me over $1 million in revenue, and I've seen other people make the same mistake year in and year out. So without further ado, let's dig right in. Now, if you want to go ahead and follow along and actually get a free trial, all you got to do is click the link below in my description, and it'll allow you to get an extended 30-day free trial of High Level. Once you click this, just click Start Extended Free Trial. Once you're all set up, it'll take about a few minutes, but once you're inside, you'll have a dashboard that looks very similar to this. This is my actual dashboard and my actual CRM that I've been using, and this is basically the past week of pipeline. So let me refresh this. And so as you can see here, this comes to the big mistake. When I was starting off with business, when I was getting started with my own side hustles, my own websites, I was basically just looking for a bunch of cheap or free software. And so what I would do is, hey, I wasn't making a lot of money. And so I would sign up for a free version of a software that did one thing. It did it all right. But then when I started growing and scaling the business, that one free software that I've been working in for like 6 months didn't connect to the other software that I was using. And so basically I kind of had created this Frankenstein thing of software where there's like 5 or 6 different platforms. They all worked well, but they didn't connect and communicate. And so what I realized finally is by not having everything under one roof and one box, I was missing out on millions of dollars in revenue over the past 5 years of business. And you might be thinking like, yeah, there's the cost savings, there's the missed opportunity, but let me explain how this actually works as we're going through this tutorial. So what I'm going to do is show you how to set up your CRM, what exactly is, and what that missed opportunity means for you. So once you're in your High Level account, basically what you're going to want to do and what we're going to focus on is what High Level calls opportunities. This is the customer relationship management. This is the pipeline. This is the opportunities. A lot of people use different terminology to describe the CRM pipeline. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to open this up and I'm basically going to make one from scratch because I can't show any sensitive customer data here. So as you can see here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a brand new pipeline from scratch. So what we're going to do is we're just going to walk you through how to set it up and how easy it is. And the cool thing is if you already have leads in another platform, let's just say you're coming over from a Google Sheets, Airtable, another CRM, basically what you can do is you can just get all of these details from your customers and then you can actually put them in a lead. You can get their lead name, their contacted, what status they're at, everything like this. So what I'm going to do is just call this the YouTube pipeline. And let's just go ahead and create this. So as you see here, it'll show up in your pipelines, but let's go ahead and edit it and actually open it up here. So YouTube pipeline, and basically what it has here is it has your stages. And so let me explain where that $1 million comes from. When your business is growing and scaling, when you have 10 customers or 10 contacts or 10 leads, it's really easy to understand, hey, Joe is the person who's hot. I need to follow up with him. I need to get him back on the phone. He's a hot lead. Basically put all my attention on getting him and closing him out. But when you go from 10 leads to 100 or to 1,000 or to 10,000, it becomes very unclear to isolate those hot and warm leads. And so having everything under one roof is going to enable you to concentrate your efforts on the people who have the highest likelihood of closing. And so when you have an email software over here, here that doesn't integrate with your CRM, or you have a website that's hosted on another platform and you can't enable that traffic data. So let me give you an example. And so let's say we've got somebody who opens every single email, who clicks on it, and actually is going to your website and spending a lot of time on it. Let's say they're spending 30 minutes a week or 40 minutes a week reading your blogs, reading your site. Wouldn't it be a good idea to actually reach out to that person, get them on a phone call? They're already really engaged, but you have no idea that they're engaged because you don't have the proper structure to figure that out, because it's all under different roofs. When you have it under one roof, you can add a tag, you can send internal emails, you can auto dial people, you can send qualification stuff. And again, what I'm talking about here is being able to isolate those leads that have the highest likelihood to give you money for your businesses and your services. And so this is the big $1 million mistake I made, because all of this stuff was scattered around. And by not understanding who to isolate down, who to concentrate your efforts on, I calculated over the past 5 years that I've missed out on more than $1 million of revenue. And so I've spent the past few months switching over all my businesses to high level, so everything's under one roof. I can see those people who are viewing my website, who are opening my emails, who are clicking things, and then I can contact them and automate my sales team to focus on those leads and those prospects to convert them into my business. And so if you have a business structure or you're just getting started, it's much easier to do this now than if you're 3 to 4 years into it. You have all this customer data and all these lead data on these other platforms. It's basically really difficult, but it's not impossible because I just did it. And so what I suggest doing is, if you're not using a pipeline like this, try to set something up. Your business pipeline is going to vary, but here's something that will work for just about every single person out there. Now, what you have here is new lead, contacted, proposal sent, closed. Try to make it as simple as possible to understand the different lead stages. I personally like leads, and then what I would do here is like call booked or call scheduled. And then it would be like this second status, like no show. If they no showed the call, they get sent to another pile here. And then if they booked a follow-up, they would have a follow-up, or they would just say call scheduled. And then they have like closed one, or like I like to have a column of just like don't contact. These people will never be a good fit. So you can have closed one, closed lost, and then like never contact. And so what we can do is, if we wanted to add like another, opportunity here, let's just say we'll go through. This is just adding an opportunity, which is basically a new contact. It's a little bit different than contacts, but opportunities are isolated to this pipeline. So you can have a contact that has 2 opportunities, and they can be in different pipelines. So for example, I have multiple offers, multiple businesses. Let's say I have Steve. Steve opted in for one of my lead magnets. Let's just say my buying online business ebook. So he opted in here, but he also came to my side hustle summit. And so he would also be in that pipeline. But Steve, basically what he did is he booked a call through the ebook and was automatically moved over to the call scheduled pipeline or stage. And so once he's in this stage, he can be in a different stage on this pipeline than the other pipeline. And so the reason this is important is because you might have multiple offers, multiple pipelines, and people at different stages. So that's why you'll typically have one contact, and that contact can have multiple opportunities. So if we want to adjust the pipeline, if we want to add another stage here, all you got to go to the pipelines, and then we've got the YouTube one here. Add stage. Let's just put call scheduled. And so once you have that, once you go back to your opportunities here, you'll see the YouTube pipeline, and then we'll basically see the call scheduled. And so, oh man, I didn't drag it into the right spot. So typically you want to go from left to right, and right being the closest to becoming a customer or becoming a customer, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back, edit this, and then what you can do is you can just drag and drop this like this. So let's just say new lead, call scheduled. Let's just say lost, closed one, closed, never call. And so what I like to do here is, again, if you have a never one, and these are people who, like, no matter what type of marketing, service, adjustments you make, they're just never going to be a good fit for you. They don't have the right mindset. And not only do they not have the right mindset, they don't have the right opportunity to ever be qualified. An example can be like, let's say you do roofing in the US and it's somebody from, who lives in India, plans to stay in India and is never going to, be in the US. Of course they could move, but just for this example. In that example, it would most likely be a good close, never call. And so that's the type of person who's like, they just don't fit your avatar or they're easy to understand. And so what you can do is when you're generating leads, you can auto qualify people by asking them 2 or 3 questions. I like to get their first name, their last name, their email, their phone number, and then maybe ask 1 or 2 check boxes, and that's it on that first lead magnet. Or if you have a sequence where it goes from easy lead magnet to more qualified. So if you have like a survey or something in between, that can be a really good way to qualify people. And so what we have here is basically we've got an opportunity. And for YouTube's terms, I'm just going to use test data here because we can't use real contact names. Test at gmail.com. All right, so this is just a test value. What we've got here, we've got the name, the primary phone number, the email, the opportunity name. For when you're naming your deals, there's a lot of different ways to do this. Sometimes you can say, like, if you're a biz op, you can put the email plus deal number. So like that way you've got a really good source of figuring out. It depends what you're collecting. Like if you don't have these details on your opt-in, it's going to be a little bit harder to name it. The good thing is in general, you want to use email because that's kind of the most unique value. That's like most people have just that. Some people use phone numbers, but with area codes and zip codes and formatting, it can get a little complicated. So then you've got the pipeline name here. You've got what stage they're in, their status, open, lost, won, abandoned. So they use these terminologies, like abandoned would be like the never call. And so what you could do is like, let's say we put this person in abandoned. We mark them as status abandoned. You can actually just go ahead and set up an automation that anytime you mark somebody as abandoned, it would just move them into this never call list here. And so basically what we have here is we've got this sort of opportunity stuff that we're doing, and we're actually going ahead and importing our lead. So if you want to do that, you can click import. You can do contacts, you can do opportunities, you can do both. The easiest way to do this is if you're importing contacts, just go ahead through your database or where you're coming from, put the stage name and have that line up to this stage name. And so when you're importing it, you want to make sure that your leads are going to match up in the right stages. So let me clear that filter. And so we've got this example deal here. And so basically what I mentioned earlier is like you can set up automations that, let's say they automatically schedule a call through High Level. One of the cool things about High Level is they have a call booking system where they can select the time on your calendar, they can book it, and they can automatically get moved from new lead to call scheduled. They can get a tag added, call booked. And so it's important to add these things. So again, you know what stage people are at. You can sort them later on, and you can see where they are in the pipeline. And so another important thing to do is to figure out your funnel, like conversion rate analytics. So let's say you have a $10,000 product, and people who get to the call scheduled stage, they show up at, let's just say 50%, and you're closing at 50%. What you can do is you can basically do math to figure out, okay, a person who schedules a call at this close rate, I have data showing that 50% show up, 50% close rates. That's going to allow you to assign a value at that deal stage. And so the reason this is important is because, one, it gives you an idea of how much money you have sitting on the table in each stage. And so you can auto assign different values as they're going through here. And basically you can just move them based on automations. And so in general, you can automate just about everything. You can kind of automate no-shows. It's a little bit more complicated. But in general, when you have a salesperson, they just move it there, or they need to update and add notes. Hey, this person no-showed, called them 3 times. They messaged me back, said they're not interested. So in general, you can automate a bit of the first part, but in general, you need to train your sales team to update this, leave notes. And so one of the things that we've got here is we've got the contact. We can also add in their company details if they're associated or tied with a company. So sometimes you might be talking to 5 or 6 people at a company, And so it might be one company that you want to see, but there's multiple contacts under there. So we've got the tags here. We can add like a tag like call booked. If we wanted to add that automatically, you can see what automations they're in. And so we can add them to an automation or workflow. And so what we got here is we got all the different automations. And so what you can do is you can enroll people based on the tag, or if they fill out a form, you can just automatically add a tag, add them to an automation. And so the reason this is important is because based on different stages, people need to be getting different marketing, different calls, different emails, stuff like that. So, for example, a really good one is, hey, a lead just came in. They are really qualified. They mark that they've got a budget for $100,000. So I want to send a Slack notification. I want to send a text message internally to my team, and I want to get them on a call as soon as possible. So what you can do is you can send internal alerts, external emails, and text messages, and basically just you can even auto dial them with high levels AI sort of automation here. And so what I want to do here is just kind of go through all of these. We've got the automation, we've got the course offers, D&D, this is the do not disturb stuff. So if they basically tell you they don't want to be called again, you'll need to go ahead and select these things. But let's go into just kind of the general info. You can add in the business name. Again, this stuff's important, but for my business, since we're not necessarily B2B, we're more B2C, a lot of this stuff isn't as relevant. And then we have the funnel forms. And so what we've got here is we basically have a really good way. And let me just go back to the contact here. And so what we can do here is we can view the conversation. We can just call them actually in the pipeline, which is cool. So you can click call. You can add a note, which is really great. And so what I've been doing lately, especially if I'm having like my team have a sales call with them, I've been using this platform. It's one of the best, Fathom.video. And what you can do is anytime you have a sales call, Fathom will basically be giving you a free recording, and it'll also give you a transcription of notes on the call. And so what I like to do is I have my salespeople add in the Fathom notes, their own notes. And so what they can do is just put Fathom, and then they can just copy and paste everything in there, save it, and then they can add their own notes like as well on top of that. Let's just say sale guys notes. And basically what that's going to do is anytime you have a follow-up, or again, if you have hundreds of calls, or if you're doing 40, 50, 100 calls per week, you have multiple sales guys, things can get complicated. One sales guy might be on vacation and the other guy has no idea. So the notes are super important when you're building a CRM. And so what we've got here is we've got also task. So let me save that. So you can add a new task. Basically, this is going to be like, hey, I need to follow up, or I need to send this guy an invoice by, Monday. And you can add a title. And basically, this is just going to like give you a reminder. Recurring tasks, you can say like follow up with this person every week. And then you've got the book update appointment. Sorry. And so what you can do here is you can actually like have a calendar associated for each business, and then you can go ahead and get the meeting location, the appointment title, and get all that stuff set. And then we've just got the opportunity details here. So again, guys, this can be as advanced or simple as you want it to be. What I suggest doing is one, just trying to get all of your leads automatically into one pipeline, and then automatically getting people to the second stage in your funnel. Whatever stage that is, make it automatic. Try to make it as seamless as possible. And then in general, let's say you have a payment go through, that can also automatically move them to the close one. And it can add the actual value. So there's a lot of really cool integrations. And so if you like this type of stuff and you want some more advanced integrations, what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave a link below in the description where you can, one, get the free 30-day trial of High Level, but two, you can also join our private community where we're showing you how to make money, get your first customers, building you a website, a system, a CRM, all inside the Earn From Anywhere Academy. You can join the link below. And again, thank you so much for joining this video. I'm going to leave another video up here that's going to help you learn and earn from anywhere in the world. Take care. I'll leave another video up here and selected for you. And if you're first time to the channel, don't forget to hit